Hello and welcome to this lab demonstration on creating content libraries. At the beginning of this lab, we already need to be familiar with the concept of VMware vSphere content libraries. In this lab, we will create a local content library and upload data to it. Then we will create a subscribed content library and a subscription for VM templates. After that, we are going to clone a template to the local library. And finally, we are going to synchronize the content libraries and deploy a VM from a subscribed library. I'm sure I provided you enough good reasons to watch the following video on creating content libraries, so let's get started. Our first task in this lab is going to be a creation of a local content library. So what do we need to do? Let's go to our vSphere client, and now we are going to go to a menu section. Just a second. And now we need to choose a content libraries section in the menu right here. So let's click on that. Here we can see that currently we do not have any of those content libraries. So let's create the first one. Let's click on the create button. Now we need to type a name for our newly created content library. Let's call it SA Local Library. We can also add some notes here. Currently we do not need to do that. And we're going to create this library under the SA VCSA01 vCenter server control. So let's click on next. Now we're going to choose the local content library. This content library will be administered by the SA VCSA01 vCenter. So let's choose the local content library option. Let's enable publishing by this content library. We're going to create another one which will be subscribed to this particular content library. And let's enable authentication service for this particular content library for us to be able to authenticate our second content library to this one. So let's type a password here. Let's repeat it. Now let's click on next. Now we need to choose a storage or a data store which is going to be used as the actual disk space for this particular content library. Let's choose the upscale data store here. Let's click on next. Now let's verify that we are going to create a content library which will be called as SA Local Library. It will be under the SA VCSA01 control. Its type is local content library relative to our SA VCSA01 vCenter. It will be a publishing content library and it's enabled with a password protection. And the actual storage space for this particular content library will be our upscale data store. So let's click on finish. And let's verify that our process has been completed. We now can see our SA local library. Its type is local, it's publishing, it's password protected, and it's under SA VCSA01 control. Actually, there are no templates, there are no any storage usage right now. We can see when this content library was created and when it was modified lastly. So let's continue. Now we are going to upload some data to this content library. So let's right click on our SA local library and let's click on import item option here. We are going to upload some data from our local file. Let's click on upload files. Now on our desktop, let's go to class materials and licenses. Let's go to downloads. And here we can see a directory which is called sample VM. If we go there, we can find some files of our test VM, which we are going to use as the object we are going to upload here. So let's at first choose the sample VM OVF template file and click on open. Now we can see that our vCenter is advising us that there are also 3 associated files with this particular OVF template. These are sample VM1 VMDK, sample VM2 ISO image, and sample VM3 NVRAM. We must also upload all of those files right now. So let's click on upload. Let's choose all of them. We can use them simultaneously. So let's click on open. Now we can see that all required 4 files are ready to import right now. We are going to upload those files as the specific destination. Let's do not change that name. We are going to see a sample VM object in our content library. So let's click on import. And now we need to wait a bit for us to actually see that that file has been successfully uploaded. We can see a status bar for this particular operation. Let's wait a couple of seconds for us to see that this procedure has actually been finished successfully. So after a couple of minutes, we can see that our sample VM object has been successfully uploaded to our library and it has become a library item. So let's verify it. Let's click on our SA local library on the left pane here. Let's click on templates. Let's click on VM templates. Let's refresh the page. Oh, excuse me, OVF and OVA templates. Yes, and here we can see our sample VM right now. We can see its size, we can see when it was modified, and we can see in which particular content library it currently is placed. So let's continue. Now we are going to create another content library which will be subscribed to this particular content library we have already created. So now what we are going to do, we are going to, again, let's click on our SA local library and let's click on summary tab. Let's see the publication pane on the summary tab, and here we need to find and copy a link to our local content library. Let's copy this link and let's paste it somewhere so we could return to this particular object. So what we are going to do next, we are going to create another content library. So let's go to a menu, let's go to content libraries, and let's click on the create button again. Let's click on create. Let's call it SB subscribed library. Again, we can choose to add some notes here, which we do not need to do right now. Now we need to choose a second vCenter, which is going to be a main vCenter for this particular content library. Let's click on next. Now we are going to create a subscribed content library in this particular procedure. So here we need to paste our copied URL. So let's click on let's copy our subscription URL from our first content library and let's paste it here. Now we need to enable authentication for this particular subscription because our local content library was password protected. So let's type our password here. Now, we can either choose when this particular subscribed library is going to download the data from our local content library. It can be done either immediately or when needed. If we choose the immediately option, every object that has been uploaded to our local library will be downloaded by our subscribed library at that exact moment, but we do not need to do it right now. We are going to choose the when needed option, so we could see some object metadata in our subscribed library, but we are going to download the actual data of any VM template only when we actually need it. So let's choose this option right now. Let's click on next. Now we need to choose the storage for our second content library. Let's choose the option ESXi01 local. Let's click on next. Now let's verify that we are going to create an SB subscribed library. It will be under SB VCSA01 control. This is a subscribed content library with this particular subscription link of our first local content library. And we are going to use the ESXi01 local data store as the storage for this particular content library. So let's click on finish. Now we can see that we currently have two content libraries, SA local library and SB local library. So let's go to our SB local library and SB subscribed library, I'm sorry, and verify it. Its type is subscribed. It is located on an ESXi01 local data store. It's password protected and so on. So now what we are going to do, we are going to turn off automatic synchronization between those libraries, between our SA local library and our SB subscribed library. We are going to synchronize them manually later in this particular lab. So let's go on Summary tab. We need to go to a subscription pane here, just a second, and click on Edit Settings. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to deselect the Enable Automatic Synchronization with the external content library. Let's deselect it. Now, under a password section, we need to type a password for the subscription. Let's type VMware 1 exclamation mark. And here we again need to verify that we can see the download library content only when needed option is selected. So let's click OK. And now we have successfully modified our SB content library. And the subscription automatic synchronization is currently in the off state. So let's continue. Now let's create a subscription for VM templates. What we are going to do, let's go to our SA local library on the left pane. Let's click on subscriptions. Currently we do not have any subscriptions between this particular SA local library and any other libraries. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create a new subscription. So let's click on Actions, New Subscription. Now, we are going to create a new subscription to an existing subscriber library. Let's click on Next. Now, let's verify that we need to choose as the vCenter, we need to choose the SB VCSA01. And here we can see that our SB VCSA01 vCenter server has a local content library relative to SB VCSA01. Let's choose this particular SB subscribed library here. Let's click on Next. Now, we need to unwrap our SB data center discovered virtual machines. We can see that now this particular list is clear right now, so we can continue. We do not find any particular VMs right now. Let's click on Next. Let's choose the compute resource, which is going to maintain those subscriptions. Let's choose SB ESXi01 vClass local. Let's click on Next. Let's select the only possible option here, VM network, as the network for maintaining that subscription. Let's click on next. Let's review. We are going to create a subscription to an existing subscribed library. The vCenter server will be SB-VCSA01 vClass local. The subscribed library will be SB subscribed library. And now we are going to use the SB-ESXi01 vClass local as the compute resource and our VM network as the network for this subscription. Let's click on finish. Now we can see that the SB subscribed library here is chosen as the subscriber library. So this procedure is completed. Now, let's actually feed some other objects to our local content library. Let's clone a template to a local library. What do we need to do? So let's go to menu, let's go to hosts and clusters, and let's find a virtual machine which is called Photon01. We can find it right here in our SA Compute 01 cluster. So here it is, Photon01. Let's right click on that VM. Let's choose the clone option. And let's choose an option which is called Clone as Template to Library. Now, we are going to clone it as the VM template. Let's rename the template. Let's sign that this object will be located in library. So let's add a library to the name of a template. Let's click on next. Let's choose our SA local library as the destination for this particular template. Let's click on next. Now let's select a compute resource. We can choose the SA ESXi 05 vClass local ESXi host. Let's click on next. Now we need to choose the VM storage policy for our particular template. Let's choose the data store default. And let's choose the upscale data store as the storage for our template. Let's click on next and let's review. We are going to create a VM template. The name of this template will be Photon01 library. It will be used by a compute resource SA ESXi 05. The storage for this template will be upscale data store and the VM storage policy will be data store default. So let's click on finish. And now this procedure has been completed. Now let's verify it. Let's go to a menu. Let's go to our content libraries. Let's click on our SA local library, templates. Here we can see in OVF over templates, we can see our sample VM from our previous tasks. And in our VM templates section, we can see our Photon01 VM. We can see its size, we can see its operating system, we can see that it's actually located physically in our content library. So now let's go to our second content library. And here we can only see the information about our sample VM. Again, let's remember, our sample VM is physically located in our SA local library, which is the publisher library. And this particular SB subscribed library is a subscribed library. So this particular library does know about the existence of sample VM. But what we can see here, we see the size of this object is actually 0 bytes or nearly 0 bytes. That's because we do not synchronize the exact data between this subscribed library and our SA local library. So SB subscribed library does know about the existence of this template, but we haven't downloaded yet. And our VM, Photon01 VM does not exist, at least right now, in the memory of SB subscribed library. So what we are going to do next? We are going to synchronize the content libraries again for us to be able to see our Photon01 library template right here in SB subscribed library. So let's do it. Let's go to our SA local library right now. Let's go to a subscription section here. Let's click on our SB subscribed library and let's click on Publish button right now. Here we can see the alarm about that all VM templates in the library will be published to the selected subscription. OVF templates and other types will not be published. So let's click on Publish. Let's wait a couple of seconds for us to see that this information has been synchronized. Let's go to our SB subscribed library. Let's go to a templates section, and now we can actually see the existence of Photon01 library. Our SB subscribed library now knows that this particular template is existing. We can see its size is again 0 bytes because we haven't downloaded the whole template. We have only downloaded the metadata information. We know about the existence of this Photon01 library object in SA local library, but we are going to download it a bit later. So let's do it. Let's deploy a virtual machine from the subscribed content library. Here we can see the object, but let's actually deploy a virtual machine. So what we are going to do, we are going to go to our SA local libraries, templates. Let's find our Photon01 library. Let's right click on it and let's click Publish. Now we're going to choose where we are going to publish this particular VM template. We need to choose our SB subscribed library and click OK. The procedure of VM downloading has begun, so we need to wait a bit to actually see the finishing of this particular procedure. So let's wait just a couple of seconds more. Now, the publishing process has been completed. Let's verify it. Let's go to our SB subscribed library. Let's go to our templates, VM templates section. Here we again can find our Photon01 library object, but now we can see its actual size, somewhere around 461 megabytes. So now this object is actually downloaded by this particular subscribed library. So now we can deploy a virtual machine by using this particular object right here. So let's click on this Photon01 library. Let's click on New VM from this template. And here we can see the wizard of VM deployment. Now we need to choose some options to actually deploy this virtual machine. So let's call this VM Photon04. Let's click on Next. Now let's choose a compute resource where we are going to actually deploy this virtual machine. Let's choose our SB ESXi01 vClass local ESXi host. Let's click on Next. Now we need to choose where we are going to place the set of files of this virtual machine. Let's choose our ESXi01 local data store. Let's click on Next. We are going to skip any customization operations for this particular virtual machine. We are not going to customize the operating system right now. We are not going to customize this virtual machine's hardware right now. And we do not want to power on this virtual machine right now in this particular lab. So let's click on next. Let's verify that we are going to create a virtual machine which will be called Photon04 from a source template which is called Photon01 library, our particular VM template object in our SB subscribed library, content library. We are going to deploy this virtual machine on our SB ESXi01 ESXi host, and we are going to place it in ESXi01 local data store. Let's click on finish. And let's see that this VM has been deployed. So let's verify it. Let's verify its existence. Let's go to a menu, hosts and clusters. Let's find our SBVCSA01 vClass local. Let's unwrap its SBVTA cluster. And here we can see our Photon04 VM. So our operation was successful. Congratulations, you have completed the Creating Content Libraries lab demonstration video. During this lab, we have seen how and where we can create a local content library and upload data to it, how we can create a subscribed content library and a subscription for VM templates, what do we need to do to clone a template to a content library, and finally, how we can synchronize the content libraries and deploy a VM from a subscribed library. Thank you for watching this lab demonstration video. I hope the knowledge acquired here will help you with your daily job assignments, and good luck as you continue your journey in VMware world.